Hi, my name's Sophie Foster, and welcome to Can We Talk About That, the local Oxford County podcast where we break down gender-based violence. In each episode of this show, I sit down with folks who are working on the front lines of prevention, support, and system change. But this episode is a little bit different, as I'm sitting down with a survivor from our local community. Before we get into today's conversation, just a quick heads up that we will be talking about topics that might be triggering, and specifically with this survivor story, there are mentions of trauma, physical abuse, and violence. Please just take care of yourself while you're listening to this episode, and if you need any support after you're done listening, or if you need to take a break, please feel free to call the Domestic Abuse Services Oxford or DASO's crisis line. The phone number is 1-800-265-1938. It's open 24/7, it's free, and it's confidential. For today's episode, I'm sitting down with Jerry Acchione. So maybe to start off our episode, I was wondering if you could start by introducing yourself. Both, we know you're the Woodstock City Mayor, but also just as you.
I'm a very proud City of Woodstock Mayor. This is my first term. I've been on City Council since 2014. But the reason I'm here is I wanted to talk about being a survivor. My family, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, single mom. My family left an abusive situation because of an incredibly strong mother. Third time was a charm, wasn't the first time. It's funny, I talked to my brother and sisters, and we all have little different memories of how it all went down and everything. But being the oldest, I've always claimed that I remember the most, but there's a lot I don't. I can't, those were tough days. There's no question. I'll never forget March 8th, 1985, the day we came home from school right before March break. Mom had the car loaded up, and we were off again to see Grandma and Grandpa. But I do remember seeing our luggage in the back of the car, and I don't know, I think I knew, but I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
were
that's
going
a funny
again.
feeling, like,
Yeah.
oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can feel the energy too.
Oh, yes. It was, again, it's the third time Mom trying to leave my dad with all of us. It was about a year before that it happened before, but I don't know, I guess I was it was 8 days before my 11th birthday, so I just seem to remember a lot more from that period. It's been etched in my mind for a long time. Yeah, and then we went to a home, a domestic abuse home in Guelph.
Oh, okay.
That's where we ended up going right away. Yeah.
Was it an emergency shelter?
Yes, it was an emergency shelter.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, we ended up going to school. We were there almost a year. Of course, Mom having 5 kids had a very difficult time finding somebody to rent from. And then we were having a lot of troubles with my father. My father was looking for us, so they kept us hidden. Would drive us to school. We could never walk in the streets. We had to, hide in the building or in the backyard, big fences. I'll always be thankful for them and the church right next door, because we were able to go in the church and play, but it was all indoors. It was, like I said, things you remember.
Yeah. Well, and I know, that's a lot. Like, I've never heard those pieces of your story before, but I know at DASO and Ingamo events you have told little pieces of your story as well. And I was wondering, maybe, is there a reason that makes you want to speak out publicly about your experience?
Well, again, the idea is hope. Not only am I a huge supporter of what you're doing here at Ingamo and DASO, the need is unfortunate. There shouldn't be a need for it, period, but there is. People don't like to talk about it. I think there's still a little stigma towards that. I think gender-based violence comes in so many different forms, from physical to mental, that it's all over. And I'm fearful when I see it or think I see it. And I guess I just want to be there and say, listen, there's hope. Again, it's that hope piece that, let's help each other. What you do in your team, I probably couldn't do every day without crying too much. I know sometimes it hit home. You've seen me at different events. I know it gets emotional. I'm trying to do this today without emotion. But I've always spoken up and said, it's okay to talk about it. Mm-hmm. It's, if you need help, ask.
Yeah.
Well, and the more we talk about it, the less, darkness there is surrounding it. We've got to bring the light in.
Bring the light in. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to borrow that.
Yeah. Oh, you take and run. So, I mean, you've told us a little bit about your story. One thing that I noticed just from what you did share is, or what makes me think about it, I have 3 older sisters. So I'm the baby.
Okay.
But I think just thinking about that sibling connection and that you were the oldest. Yeah. So I'm sure you had a different role to play. Each sibling, I find, plays different roles.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you find that, your siblings now today maybe have different connections because of your different experiences?
Oh, absolutely. We're a very close-knit family. In fact, I've said it lots of times. My brother is my best friend, period. I've walked my sisters down the aisle. I've actually turned around and I did the service. My one sister asked me to do the marriage, so I did a course and everything else. So I've definitely been, I think, now that I'm older, I can see I was kind of that father figure to my siblings. And even somewhat to some of my nieces and nephews. It's, the family dynamic, I was lucky. We've all come through it successfully. I'm not saying we didn't have issues. We certainly did, like any family. But now, today, we can all look back and have these conversations of, can you remember when, or again, I was talking to my brother, coincidentally, we were talking about your show here, and I was telling him some of the things I remember that he doesn't at all. Like, he's blacked out so much, and I know my sisters have done that as well, and so have I. But again, it's that talking about it, and so proud to be able to help my mom when she needed the most. Again, it was 8 days before my 11th birthday, so
you're just little.
11, 12 years old, being in, having to grow up really quickly, I'm sure has made who I am today. In fact, like through high school, because I paid rent from 13.
Wow.
On, working at farms, we finally rented a place. Thankful to the Van Bokel family for giving us that chance, and Pottsville Missionary Church for co-signing and giving us the supports we needed to actually have a house. And sorry, just thinking about all that time.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about.
There's a lot to think about it, and there's so much to say, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of who I've become because of the situation we've gone through. And I'm just hoping I can give hope.
Well, I think you are giving hope.
Well, thank you.
So, okay, maybe thinking about that, that 11-year-old boy, even that 13-year-old boy that's paying rent. Were there moments that really shifted for you how you saw your parents' relationship? I mean, you mentioned coming home, seeing suitcases, it's the 3rd time, we're trying to get out of here. Yeah. Were there moments, because it's still your family, you still have 10 years as a family.
Yeah. I thought we were normal, up until that period. I really didn't think we were that abnormal. I know we tried to laugh, we've kind of ran, we've been away. I think we were away at the longest a couple of weeks, and then something happened and we went back to home. Things got better for a little while, very temporary. I think going from, again, I want to say before the last time, that 10-year-old boy, I think, knew something was wrong. Now that I look back, didn't want to believe it. He was still my dad. Loved him, respected him, But seeing now and having good relationships with partners over the years, you certainly don't treat anybody like that. And I guess that was really pointed out. I'll never forget, I'm sorry, sitting down with a social worker at the home. It was a day after my 11th birthday. Yeah, so I guess that would have been March 17th, 1985, sitting down for the first time, and that social worker telling me that what I'm used to was not right. You know, I just remember being crushed, and at the time still loving and thinking my father was still great, right? I remember being crushed, thinking that it's not wrong, like don't be abusive. And for punishment, we used to have to kneel on the grate for hours.
Wow.
You know, not to get into too much, but it was, and talking about this, and you know, talking with social workers and finding out what should happen in a family dynamic. My family certainly wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's a long process of realizing like that wasn't normal, this wasn't normal.
Oh yeah.
You know, because
it took years.
At the time.
It was just what I was used to.
Yeah.
You know, if some peas fell off my table or out of my plate and fell on the floor, I'd be sitting on that grate for a few hours after dinner because I made a mess. Right? It was just that was normal. Like you just don't make a mess.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right. But then as an adult, you can see.
That's a little excessive.
Yes.
I mean, that's why we have Dexter now. He comes and cleans up after me, right?
Right.
It's reality certainly changed, and I'll always be thankful for the help we got when we needed it at the domestic abuse home.
Okay, this is a good question that I drafted specifically for you, just because you're a community leader, but you're also, you're working with people that are maybe in positions of power within our community. Do you find I find as survivors of gender-based violence, we see things differently, or maybe we see things that other people don't see.
Yep.
So, do you find any like myths or maybe assumptions about abuse that you hear from people in positions of power, or just in the work that you do and see in our community?
Oh, that is a good question. Myths, not so much. I think anybody in power has gone through something and knows enough to ask and get some facts. I think having community partners is just as important as having provincial partners and federal partners. When it comes to funding, this is what everybody kind of relies on to make this successful. So every opportunity I can. I was at AMO last week. I'll always be talking to ministers and the importance and what I think is really important here in the city of Woodstock, but also simply in Ontario and in Canada. This has always been high on my list, it's no secret. But so are others, right? Homelessness, encampments, housing, things I get on a regular basis in my office for calls of concerns. I haven't met any, doesn't mean I agree with them all, but I haven't met anyone yet that I can say they're only there because of something that's not right. Everybody has experiences, everybody has their priorities, and then my role again is to stress what I feel is most important here in Woodstock and Oxford County as a county councillor. And again, the services that they offer here are so important.
Okay, so for my last couple questions now, just transitioning, thinking about our audience.
Sure.
If you were to talk to someone who's listening, maybe even someone that you work with in office, another city councillor, or just the general public, what would you want them to understand about gender-based violence and healing?
Gender-based violence comes in many forms. Again, what I've learned is, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be abusive by the hand or a belt or sitting on a grate. It's the influences, controlling money, controlling who they see. You know, some families are going through hardships of seeing their own family because they have a spouse that is trying to control them and keep them away. There's so many different forms that, again, the only way we'll stop them is to talk about them, to bring them to the forefront. You know, so there isn't the stigma and fear of talking about the different forms of gender-based violence. There are, or intimate partner violence, whatever we want to call it. That's all related, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you suspect it, say something. If you're experiencing it, say something. You know, even if it's simply to start with, talk to a loved one, somebody you trust, a best friend. If you kind of sensing it's not right, say something. My mom knew very early in the marriage where it was probably heading, and waited to have 5 kids, and it's a lot harder then to get away and have some sort of a normal life. I'm still amazed by my mother. You know, being a father of 2 kids with my wife and having good jobs, I couldn't imagine the hardships of 5 kids. I was still blown away. But ask for help. Please don't be shy. I know you have a phone number that you'll say in the show. You always do at the end, but if you're not sure what you need or who you need it, I've always plugged 211. You know, if you don't know what you need, you don't know exactly what the need is or what the problem is, 211 is a great organization that can kind of help you, direct you to anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the hope too with the women's shelters, is that, you know, if you're just trying to sort out, is this abusive, this is not abusive, where should I go for help? Like you got to start somewhere.
Right.
So if you just talk to one person about it, you know, that'll hopefully lead you to where you need to go.
That's the hope.
Yeah. Well, and you've talked a lot about hope,
Yeah.
and just thinking back to that, you know, 11-year-old, 10-year-old boy. What's something that gives you hope right now today?
That whatever is going on in your life right now is not the rest of your life, right? In fact, if I could, if you're watching this video and you know something is not right, ask for help. If you in a circumstance that you know is not comfortable, you know, just have hope. Hope is so important. I'd love to go back and talk to that 11-year-old boy that 40 years later that he's going to be the mayor, and I've said it before, it's incredible to think what could happen with the right services, with the right help, but it all starts with hope. So there is hope for a better life.
Well, and I feel like I see hope in your story too, of just thinking of like the strong connection you have with your family now. To me, that's a lot of hope in that. Is that sometimes the disconnection we can have in abusive relationships can actually create stronger connections.
Totally.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like so with your other family members or or that church or the people who are able to support you. So it's temporary, but...
Yeah, and true friends come out too when you really need help like that. And you have more than you think.
Yes.
Right.
And there are people there are so many services we want to help.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think just as a community in general, we need to know that like it's not just physical violence, it's all these other things, and there's ways that you can get help. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us.
Love it, I'm honored and always here to support.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Can We Talk About That? Big thank you for Jerry Acchione for coming on and sharing his story, but also continuing to support us in our community. If you need anything after listening to this conversation, please feel free to reach out to the DASO crisis line. Again, the phone number is 1-800-265-1938. It's free, it's confidential, and it's open 24/7. We'll be back with more episodes of Can We Talk About That?